There is something happening in the unseen right now, and few people in America are ready to hear it. If you have arrived here, at this very second, I need you to stop everything you are doing. Because the tide is turning, and he does not cry out of weakness. He cries because he has been waiting for too long, waiting for you to open the door, waiting for you to finally understand what no one had the courage to teach you about the true spiritual cleansing of your life. You have spent years asking, begging, fasting, waiting for an answer from the heavens that seemed to never arrive. But the truth that is hidden in the ancient scriptures and that Neville Goddard whispered to a few is this: you do not attract what you ask for. You attract what you feel you already are. The law of assumption governs every inch of your reality. And as long as your state of consciousness remains that of the cursed person, of the victim of the unseen, of the one who is always a target of evil, Archangel Michael is not permitted to enter. He knocks, he cries, but the door of your mind is locked from the inside. Today I will teach you how to open that door. Today I will show you the technique that Neville called feeling is the secret, and that Joseph Murphy spent his life translating for the common man. You will learn to occupy the state of the person already cleansed, already protected, already freed from every root of evil. And when you do this, Archangel Michael will finally be able to fulfill what he came to do in your story. But there is a silent error, almost imperceptible, that is annulling every manifestation in your life. An error that makes you pray with your mouth, but confess the opposite with your feeling. And until I reveal this error, nothing will change. That is why you must stay until the end, because this is the key that separates those who remain trapped from those who are finally set free. Take a deep breath now. Exhale very slowly. You are being called. The entire heaven is looking at you at this very instant, and Archangel Michael is not crying for just anyone. He is crying because something inside of you still resists believing that you deserve to be clean. And it is exactly this unworthiness that he has come to destroy today. And while I say this, something inside of you is trembling. It is not fear, it is recognition, it is your soul realizing that this message arrived at the right time. How many videos could you be watching right now? But it was this one that held you. It was the voice of Archangel Michael who brought you. And he does not bring anyone by mistake. You were pulled here because you carry a mission greater than you imagine. Perhaps it is protecting your family. Perhaps it is being the turning point in the lineage of your house. That is why I prepared a powerful digital book for you. It is called How to Know If God Will Save You on Judgment Day, and the link is in the description of this video and at the top of the comments pinned for you to access now. Thousands of Americans have already received this material and reported deliverances, reconciliations, warning dreams, and peace for the first time in decades. This content could be taken down at any moment. If the calling is weighing on your chest, do not delay. Get the book now. And comment down below just one word as a seal of acceptance, amen. You feel it, don't you? That strange restlessness, that tiredness that is not of the body but of the soul. That weight that insists on returning even when you pray, even when you do everything right. That weight has a name. That weight is your internal dialogue repeating day after day, night after night, that you are not yet free. And as long as the internal dialogue says, not yet, the fourth dimension returns, not yet. Because the universe does not obey your prayer. It obeys your identity. When you first grasp this, something breaks within your chest. It is as if a veil falls from your eyes and you see with painful clarity that you have spent years fighting enemies that were, in truth, lodged within your own I am. Because everything you declare after I am becomes law in your life. I am tired, I am persecuted, I am cursed, I never make it. Each of these sentences is a decree. Each is a signature on the invisible contract that keeps your suffering alive. And the Archangel Michael, with all the authority he carries, cannot invade your free will. He cannot break the chain that you yourself, without realizing it, are holding with both hands. The heavens respect what you call yourself. And that is why so many people in America today live a painful paradox. People who pray all night but fall asleep confessing, I can't take it anymore. And the invisible obeys. It always obeys. Pay attention to your inner dialogue for one day. Just one day. You will be startled by the number of times you decree yourself a loser, abandoned, without realizing it. You say with your mouth, "I will win," but the voice that whispers in the shower, in the car, stuck in traffic, repeats all the time, "I can't do it. It's always like this with me." And that voice, precisely that one, is what the invisible hears. It is what decides what will or will not happen in your life in the coming months. Notice now what you are feeling in your chest. Not what you are thinking, what you are feeling. Is there an underlying sadness, an underlying fear? This background is your current state of consciousness, and until it changes, it does not matter how much you pray on the surface. And if you are recognizing yourself in this underlying sadness, in this underlying fear, it is because the heavens want to tear this out of you before it becomes an inheritance for your children. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you. How to Know If God Will Save You on Judgment Day is here, in the description and at the top of the comments, to be downloaded today. Not tomorrow, today. Because the spiritual window that has opened for you will not remain open indefinitely. Receive it. The good news is that if your feeling built this prison, your feeling also has the power to destroy it. Not tomorrow, not in the next lunar cycle, not after 7 more days of fasting. Now. At this very instant that you are hearing my voice, your feeling can change state. And when the feeling changes state, the Archangel Michael finally has permission to act. Modern science has already understood what mystics have known for millennia. The human heart generates an electromagnetic field much more intense than the brain. Studies by the HeartMath Institute have shown that this field alters in seconds according to a person's dominant feeling. When you feel fear, the field contracts. When you feel anticipated gratitude, the field expands. And it is in this expanded field, and only in it, that the 4th dimension can deposit the answer to your prayer. That is why Neville Goddard repeated, almost like a mantra, live in the state of the prayer already answered. Not in expectation, not in hope, in the state. Behave internally like someone who has already received. Feel the relief of someone who has already been liberated. Walk in your home tonight, as you would walk if the Archangel Michael had already performed the complete cleansing. Look at your children with the gaze of someone who knows they are already protected. Look at your bank account with the gaze of someone who knows divine provision is already in motion. And look at the mirror, especially at the mirror, with the gaze of someone who has finally understood that evil no longer has an address in your house. This is the portal. It is not difficult, it is rare. It is rare because it requires a discipline that few are willing to pay. The discipline of persisting in the feeling, even when physical eyes insist on showing you the opposite. The discipline of falling asleep every single night as the person you are becoming and not as the person you were. And this is precisely where the bridge of incidents comes in. When you assume in the state of consciousness that you are already clean, already protected, already restored, the universe begins to build an invisible bridge of small circumstances that will lead you to the physical manifestation. An unexpected phone call, someone who crosses your path, a dream that brings an answer, a page of the Bible that opens on its own, a feeling in your chest, in the middle of the night, that something has ended. These bridges are not coincidences. They are the invisible engineering of the heavens responding to the new state you have occupied. And here we reach a part that many people do not want to hear but need to. True spiritual cleansing does not happen through shouting. It does not happen in desperate warfare. It does not happen through how much oil you rub, how much incense you burn, or how many memorized prayers you repeat. True spiritual cleansing happens in a much quieter place. It happens within the state that you inhabit for the longest time during your day. Think with me. How many hours a day do you spend inhabiting the state of a defeated person? How many hours spent mentally rereading what hurt you, repeating conversations that have already ended, imagining catastrophes that haven't even happened yet? Every minute of this is fuel for evil to keep circulating in your house. Every minute of this is a clear message to the 4th dimension, keep everything as it is, because this is still my identity. Archangel Michael, with all his sword of fire, does not cut what you insist on feeding. He only cuts what you abandon. And abandoning is not pretending. It is not forcing a smile while you cry on the inside. Abandoning is to enter, consciously, into the state of the person who has already been set free. It is to occupy with your imagination the room in your life where the problem has already ended. And this internal occupation must be exercised, like a muscle. You will not sustain the new feeling for very long on your first attempt. The old identity will pull you back, but that is okay. You just need to, gently, return, again and again. Until, on a certain day, you find yourself living in that state effortlessly. This is the moment when Archangel Michael has already entered. This is the moment when the law is fulfilled. And perhaps you are listening to this and feeling suddenly a desire to cry without knowing why. That is the internal confirmation. It is your spirit recognizing that this moment is a door. And doors like this do not stay open forever. There is a weight of responsibility that falls upon those who were called and pretended not to hear. You did not come this far just to be moved. You came to act. That is why I prepared a powerful digital book for you. How to Know If God Will Save You on Judgment Day has its link available in the description of this video and pinned at the top of the comments, waiting for you. Inside it are revelations that will show you, with clarity, which side of the spiritual border you are on today and what needs to be done before it is too late. People who seemed lost, who lived nights without sleep, read this material and described it as a bath of inner light. This could be your moment. Do not let this window close. Get the book now. And in the comments, leave a word written as a seal of what is being decreed within you received. Neville Goddard taught a practice he called revision. Before sleeping, you do not ask God to change your day. You reread your day with your imagination exactly as it should have been. You rewrite the argument with your husband. You rewrite the conversation with your boss. You rewrite the news you received. And when you drift off to sleep after this rewrite with the feeling that it was real, your subconscious, which does not distinguish imagination from memory, begins to operate from this new version of events. And then, slowly, day after day, your external reality begins to be forced to reorganize itself to match the internal version you are inhabiting. Not because it is magic, because it is law. The law of assumption is a law as precise as the law of gravity. You do not need to believe in it for it to work. It works for those who deny it, for those who distrust it, and for those who mock it. It just works better for those who surrender and collaborate. Therefore, tonight, before closing your eyes, I want you to do one very specific thing. And this instruction in itself can change the next 7 days of your life. You will lie in bed, turn off the light, and before sleep comes, you will imagine a short, simple, repetitive scene. A scene that represents your life already cleansed by the Archangel Michael. It could be you waking up feeling light. It could be you opening your front door and feeling the air differently. It could be you hugging someone in your family and feeling that the old tension has finally vanished. It doesn't need to be long. It needs to be felt. 5 minutes feeling that as real, with everything you have within your chest, is worth more than 5 hours screaming in prayer. And while you do this, remember one thing. The Archangel Michael does not arrive when you beg. He arrives when you occupy the throne, when you rise spiritually from the position of a beggar and assume the position of a child, when you stop asking for crumbs and begin to behave like an heir. This change in internal posture is what throws the portal wide open for him to enter. And when he enters, he does not enter discreetly. He enters sweeping. He enters cutting. He enters restoring things you had already given up on asking for. I have seen stories, and perhaps you are about to live yours, of people who applied this principle for 7 nights in a row and noticed such a massive turnaround in their material lives that they wept without understanding. Mothers who reconciled with children estranged for years, men who received job offers after months without a single response, couples who finally managed to talk without hurting one another, entire families who felt a heavy atmosphere simply evaporate within the home, as if a window had been opened in the invisible. It was not luck, it was law, the law acting the instant the internal state shifted. And that is why I insist, with all the firmness of my heart, your greatest spiritual work starting today is not to pray more. It is to feel differently. It is not to fast more. It is to assume yourself as different. It is not to run to another ritual. It is to rest consciously in the state of consciousness of the person you are becoming. The Archangel Michael can only confirm, in the physical, that which you already inhabit in the intimate. And as long as your intimate continues to say, "I am persecuted," the heavens will continue to deliver persecution. Not because they want to, because they obey. And now I need to tell you something that might perhaps unsettle you. There is a deep spiritual reason why so many people in America feel, precisely at this phase of life, after the age of 35, and restlessness they cannot explain. Have you noticed? It is not depression, it is not common tiredness. It is a feeling that something must be resolved spiritually before the next phase of your life can begin. And this feeling is not by chance. There is an exact time in every person's life when the heavens intensify the call. It is as if an invisible bell begins to ring, louder and louder, inside your chest. Some people answer it. Most, unfortunately, muffle it. They cover their ears with distraction. They cover their ears with overwork. They cover their ears with drink, with soap operas, with addictions, with useless arguments, and the call grows weaker until it is almost silent. But in you, today, it is loud. So loud that it brought you here. So loud that it aches in your chest as you listen to this. This means that your time has come. And when the time comes, ignoring it carries a high price. It costs years standing in the same place. It costs relationships that could have been saved. It costs opportunities that pass by your front door without knocking. Most importantly, it costs the inner peace you have been seeking for so long. For this reason, I ask you, do not muffle this moment. Do not sweep this message under the rug. Do not go to sleep today as if nothing had been said. Because something was said and you know it. And the tide is turning, and its weeping in the spiritual realm is literally a rain of purification, falling upon those who position themselves to receive it. Those who position themselves are those who occupy the state. Those who position themselves are those who stop arguing with the past and begin to live internally, the future version of themselves. Those who position themselves are those who, before sleep, refuse to repeat the old confession of defeat and choose deliberately to whisper into their own hearts, I am already set free, I am already protected, my house is already cleansed, my children are already covered, my mind is already a temple where evil has no seat. This nightly confession, repeated with feeling, is what hands over the key to your spiritual house to Archangel Michael. And when he enters all at once. You wake up the next day and notice, without quite understanding, that the room feels lighter, that the air is different, that the first prayer of the morning comes more easily, that the urge to cry, which came from nowhere, has simply vanished. These are the signs. These are the receipts. These are the manifestations of the fourth dimension, confirming that the work has begun. And that is where persistence enters, because, contrary to what many believe, complete spiritual liberation is not a single event. It is a process. It is a staircase of many steps, and each step requires you to remain in the new state of consciousness for long enough so that the invisible has a way to solidify the change in the physical. Joseph Murphy compared this to gestating a child. You do not need to keep looking at your belly all the time. You simply need to live like someone who is pregnant, eat like someone who is pregnant, rest like someone who is pregnant, speak like someone who is pregnant, because the body knows what to do, the subconscious knows what to do, the fourth dimension knows what to do. You only need to remain in the state. And remaining in the state is perhaps the most difficult spiritual art of our times, because the world out there will not cooperate. The bills will keep coming, the news will keep being bad, people will keep complaining, old thoughts will keep trying to return. But your commitment from here on out is not with the world out there, it is with the internal state. Your commitment is with the frequency, with the feeling, with the I am that you decide to confess 1,000 times a day in secret, in the intimacy, in the sanctuary of your consciousness. Because from the moment the I am is established, the external is compelled by the law to reorganize itself, not because you forced it, because the law has no other way to function. And Archangel Michael becomes, from that instant on, the visible executor of this new invisible decision you have made. He becomes the sword that cuts in the physical what you first cut within. He becomes the wind that uproots in the physical what you first uprooted in feeling. He becomes the light that illuminates in the physical what you first ignited in your state of consciousness. That is why so many people pray their whole lives and see no results. They are asking Archangel Michael to do, on the physical plane, what they refuse to do first on the inner plane, and he cannot. The spiritual hierarchy does not allow it. Man is a co-creator. Man is the part that must begin. And when man begins, the heavens finish. But if man does not begin, the heavens remain still, waiting, weeping, as the tide is turning now. That is why I must challenge you this night. And it may be the simplest challenge you have ever received, but it will also be the most transformative. For the next 7 nights before sleeping, I want you to close your eyes and whisper with feeling 3 sentences. Only 3. But with real feeling, with an open heart, as if you were already living what you are saying. The first, I am grateful because Archangel Michael has already entered my home. The second, I am grateful because everything that was a curse has been cut at the root. The third, I am grateful because I am now a new person, cleansed and protected. Seems simple. It is simple. But the simple, when inhabited with feeling, moves mountains. You will sleep during these 7 nights in the frequency of one who has already received, and your subconscious, upon receiving this consistent frequency, will begin to rewrite your biography. The people around you will begin to treat you differently, without understanding why. Situations will begin to unfold in your favor, without you having to force them. Doors will begin to open, and some of them, doors that had been closed for years, will give way at once, as if an invisible hand had simply turned the key. And it is exactly at this point that many people make the fatal error. The error I promised to reveal at the beginning of this video. The error that nullifies everything that has been built. Pay attention, because this is precious. When the first manifestations begin to appear, when the first signs knock on your door, the rational mind, trained to doubt, tries to return to the old state. It tries to say it was a coincidence. It tries to say it won't last. It tries to say, I don't deserve this much. And in this instant of doubt, if you yield, if you agree with the old voice, you undo in seconds the work of weeks. You turn around and return to your previous state. And then the heavens, obedient, return your old reality. Persistence, therefore, is not just continuing to do the practice. It is continuing to believe, especially when the first petals of the new life begin to sprout. It is to look at them and say, with inner firmness, I knew it. I had already seen this within me. This fruit is the confirmation of what I was already inhabiting. And when you respond like that, to the first sign of manifestation, you open the door for the second sign to come, and the third, and the fourth, until your entire life is transformed, and you, looking back, can barely recognize the person you were 6 months before. This is the path. This is the ancient sacred method that the mystics called law of assumption, which Jesus taught when he said, whatever you ask for, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours, and that Archangel Michael honors when he comes to cut, in the physical, that which you have already cut first within. There is no shortcut. There is no ritual more powerful. There is nothing more effective than changing the state of consciousness and remaining in it with patient persistence. And as I say this to you, I know that some listeners are feeling a chill run down their spine. A chill that is not cold, a chill that is confirmation. It is as if something deep within the chest has, at last, recognized the truth. It is as if an inner door has swung open, and Archangel Michael, with his blade ablaze, were, at this very instant, crossing the threshold of your mind. And if you are feeling this, I want to tell you one thing. Do not be afraid. Do not retreat. Do not run toward distraction. Remain. Breathe. Receive. Because what is happening right now, this silent encounter between you and your new reality, is worth more than any outer ritual you could ever perform. And when this encounter ends tonight, when you close your eyes to sleep, I want you to remember one word. Just one. Done. Say it in a low voice, like one signing a divine decree. It is done. It is clear. It is finished. And allow the feeling of that word to carry you into sleep. Because sleep is the womb of the new reality. It is in sleep that the subconscious receives the deepest impression. It is in sleep that the fourth dimension will deposit, within you, the next phase of your existence. You will still look back a few months from now and realize that tonight was a landmark, a boundary, a before and after. Not because something extraordinary happened in the external, but because something silent, sacred, and definitive happened in the internal. And it was from this internal event that everything else in the external began to collapse from the old and rebuild from the new. Allow yourself then this surrender. Allow yourself to lower the guard of rationality just for this night. Allow yourself to trust that the gears of the heavens are already in motion. Allow yourself to rest within the embrace of the I Am, and observe, with the eyes of mature faith, the unfolding of the coming days. You will see. You will see Archangel Michael in action, not in flashy signs, in intimate signs, in coincidences that take your breath away, in words that reach you at the right time, in dreams that warn you, dreams that warn, in people who appear with the message you needed. All of this is Him. All of this is the law. All of this is your new identity manifesting in the world. And in this process, I ask you, do not share this intimate work with just anyone. Neville Goddard taught that the state of answered prayer should be kept in secret, like a seed planted in the earth. You do not keep digging up the seed every day to show the neighbors. You trust that it is growing in the dark, in silence. In the same way, your new reality is being gestated in the darkness of your innermost self, and it is up to you to protect it from the negative voices that could abort its growth. Keep it. Whisper it only to your pillow. Whisper it only to your own soul and trust. And now, before I end this conversation, which I know has touched deep points in your heart, I need to remind you of one final truth. You did not end up here by chance. In a world with millions of videos, in a sea of distractions, this was the one that held your attention until the end. This is not a coincidence. This is the bridge of incidents of the heavens, bringing you to the message your soul needed to hear. And if this message touched you, the responsibility is now yours. You can close the video, return to the routine and pretend nothing was said. Or you can honor this encounter. Apply what you heard, remain in the new state, and observe, with anticipated gratitude, Archangel Michael acting in the coming days in ways that will move you. And before this message ends, receive this final seal. You did not reach the end of this video out of mere curiosity. You reached it because you were chosen to hear it. And this choice comes with responsibility. The responsibility to protect your home, your mind, and your lineage with what has been revealed here. That is why I have prepared a powerful digital book for you. How to know if God will save you at the final judgment is linked in the description of this video and pinned at the top of the comments. This book is the direct continuation of what you have just experienced. Get it today, before you sleep. And leave in the comments, as a final decree, the word, done. May Archangel Michael find you ready, may your home wake up changed, and may this night be, within your story, the landmark of your new reality.